Hi, Laura Donnelly here with Strange and Interesting Times, day 218. Okay, almost forgot the day. Um, Remembered my computer today, yay. And I wanted to just give you a couple of thoughts about the idea of curiosity and how curiosity can open up our, our minds to inquiry and wonder and discernment, which for me is really different than judgment. If I'm in a state of judgment, I'm evaluating all the time, right, wrong, good, bad, better, best, not good enough. But if I go for discernment, it's more like a radio dial where you can kind of fine tune the dial. I talked one time about this with my friend Sandy was watching, and we remembered in the old days growing up in rural Kansas. On Friday night, the radio station would broadcast from Oklahoma or Texas, and if you had your little transistor and it was kind of late, and a lot of the other interference would die down, you could work your radio dial and get this radio station. I think it was Wolfman Jack. I think he's playing rock and roll, and it was pretty radical when I was growing up. But it wasn't always there on the dial, and if you jerked the dial strong, like it move it too far, you just went right over it and missed it. And so for me, discernment is like that, a little closer, not quite close enough, a little bit back. And so when I'm trying to pay attention to how I'm doing something in my system, I'm checking, do I have the right energy? Am I overdoing? Am I underdoing? A lot I can tell with my voice, how my voice is sounding and in my head, and how other people are reacting to it. So that's one of my fine-tuning mechanisms. And the thing about this is that when we are in this state of curiosity, when I think about that story and the old times and listening to the radio, and what happens to my voice? What happens, the memory makes me smile. The memory that, years and years later, that I shared this memory with a friend who lives hundreds of miles away from where I live, but we can touch base on this memory and share it. I have another memory like that, which I might actually try and make this really good fruitcake that my great aunt and uncle made, and my cousin has found a copy of the recipe, so he's going to send it to me. And so kind of filtered through all of these strange and interesting times are shared memories with other people about times before this, and times, not very long ago, and times years and years ago, 50 years ago, more years ago. And one of my fondest holiday memories is receiving this 3-pound fruitcake in the mail. This package was so heavy, and I would unwrap the box. Then there was paper wrapping it. Inside the paper was foil wrapping it to keep it moist, and inside the foil was plastic wrap. So it was just unwrapping it was an adventure. And then it was marinated, or probably soaked in brandy is probably what it was, soaked in brandy. It smelled so sweet, and it was so moist, and it had all of this fruit in it. If you sliced it really thin, which we always did, about 1/8 of an inch thick, and you would hold it up to the light, you could see through it like a stained glass window. It was really wonderful. And it was different colors because they used raisins and currants and nuts, but also pieces of candied lemon peel and candied orange peel. And they did that candy, they made the candied stuff themselves by saving the lemon peels and orange peels all summer long from their orange juice and their lemonade. And then they fermented the peels and then used them in the fruitcake. And I can't even imagine how many fruitcakes they made. And And they sent them to family all over. And so it's kind of being united with your family through traditional foods that you share. And as Thanksgiving comes up, we have that coming in my family too. Who makes this dish? Who makes that dish? Um, special foods that you don't have all year long, but that you really look forward to. And sometimes it's a little disappointing if somebody gets excited and wants to try a new recipe, and you're like, "But didn't you make your, favorite thing?" So we'll see. It'll be an adventure this year. Some new people will be there, and some old people will. People who are older will probably not be there for various reasons, health reasons, and changes in living situation reasons. And so that will affect the whole mix. And I can be curious about that. And so instead of being, oh no, so-and-so is not going to be there, I can say, I wonder who is going to be there. I wonder which parts of my family will show up. I wonder if I'll go down early, or if I'll go down the day of Thanksgiving and stay in a hotel somewhere on the way home, if I will, who knows what I'll do. Won't be doing Black Friday shopping. That has never been high on my list. Get up early, go stand in line, buy stuff. I'm the worst person at buying stuff. It's quite possible that I'm not really great at selling stuff because I don't like to buy stuff. I'll have to think about that. I hadn't really thought about that. So I can be curious about that. What is that? If I don't like to buy things, why would I sell things for other people to buy? But if people like to buy things, they should be able to buy things. And then this other thing is curious. I'm curious to know if you have watched through the summer and the fall, if you notice that I'm down in my winter clothes now, in my browns and beiges and earth tones for the winter. So these are just things that shift and change, and we can grow through these things. And if I notice that on the traditional holidays, I have traditions I like to repeat, and I work with how I feel if I know they're not going to happen. Because sometimes I haven't been able to travel. The weather's been really bad. Just hasn't been a good time to travel or something. And so then what do I do when I stay by myself? How do I make that day something special and important for myself when it's not the traditional day? And I find if I am curious, then there is space for exploration, space for inquiry and reflection, and space to fine-tune things. One thing I remember is we had a tradition in my family. We always went to my grandparents' house for Christmas, and it was kind of like you don't miss this thing. And one year, my cousin and her family, my grandparents had this cabin in Colorado, which lives in the hearts of my cousins and I. We have kind of a dream fantasy about this cabin, about what it was. But it was really important in our growing up, spending time there, playing in the mountains, fishing in the lake. It was just great. So my cousins went there for Christmas one year with their family. My cousin and her brother and my aunt and uncle, who were her parents. And we missed them, and I especially missed them because like the holidays we all got together and we played, and it was like great times. And so that Christmas they weren't there. And later I heard my mom and my aunt talking, and my aunt said that of all the Christmases, that they all kind of just blended together into this kind of composite memory. That's the word I was thinking of, composite. They weren't the same every year, but they were really similar every year. And people brought, somebody brought a sweet potato casserole. Somebody else brought, my Aunt Delta brought green beans. Man, she made the best green beans. She also made really killer crescent rolls from scratch. Oh, Man, those were good. My cousin can make those. My other cousin. I haven't had them for a long time, but she makes them really good. I make pies. My Aunt Julie baked pies. My mom always made salad and some kind of vegetable dish that didn't have any sauce or cream or anything fancy on it. So these are things that I know were individual things, but they all come together, and I couldn't tell you which year we had which dish because we had a lot of the same ones year after year. But my Aunt Julie said that the Christmas that they all went away together was the most memorable family Christmas for them because it was different. So that's another thing about curiosity. If I don't do what I always do, what might happen? So I'm going to leave you with that thought. And I think I have been remiss about putting the 30 days of ease in here. I'm kind of cruising through right before the holidays, doing a little talk that's kind of reflective of the 30 days of ease photos and quotes that are going out in the email. And if you'd like to get those, just sign up for those. And at the end of the 30 days, I have a couple of special things that you might want to take advantage of. And then I will probably go back to a weekly live schedule instead of an everyday live schedule. And one of the special things that would be coming up is the easy peasy, itsy bitsy bite-sized self-care challenge that I do with my friend Imogen Ragone. So more about that as we get closer to the end of the 30 days. So take good care of yourselves. This was day 218. Oh my heavens. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.